you talk about future skilling, as things stand, one big challenge is cost. How do you reach a point where it becomes softer on the pocket? And what position are you in when it comes to reskilling your entire employee base? How do you draw that balance of, when we talk about traditional services and digital services, how do you draw that balance in terms of capabilities?
From our perspective, I think we'd like to upgrade the skills for everybody, so that all our people, stay relevant for the future there. Because I think there's a cost of not doing it as well, right? If you don't do it, then your existing talent gets disenfranchised, they get anxious and they leave, number one. And number two, then if I have to backfill those roles with somebody else, then I have to end up paying more, etc., etc. So it's as much a implication of not doing it also. And from our point of view, ultimately the question is, the amount that I can afford to spend is governed by how much my customer is willing to pay me for those skills. To the extent that I can, convince my customer that these skills are relevant and they are adding value to their work, I'm willing to spend as much as it's required to keep our people skilled, because at the end of the day, our entire industry depends only on our people. All our assets come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and go back at 6 o'clock in the evening or whatever time, right? So the issue is not the computers that I have or the buildings that I have, etc., etc. Why would I not want to spend as much as I can afford, depending on the profitability my customer gives me, to keep my productive capacity up to date, etc.
So how do you marry that with maintaining margins then? Because that is something that you have been doing for the last 2 years.
I think the industry will recalibrate from time to time, right? I mean, no doubt that if you analyze, for example, the industry said 10 years back, the EBITDA levels were higher than today. That is a function of the fact that we are now larger, growth is different, marketplace is different, there's more disruption happening as well. So we will calibrate ourselves based on the need of the hour. At the end of the day, I'm actually speaking for myself, I think if I take care of our people and our people take care of our customers, those are my two primary constituencies. If you do those two well, they'll also take care of good profitability and therefore take care of shareholders as well there. I'm not trying to protect a certain percentage margin. I'm trying to get the highest possible people engagement leading to the highest possible customer satisfaction. Those two lead to an outcome of the P&L and therefore shareholders.
So Keshav, taking from that point, if the point that Rostow made, that if clients are willing to spend, then I can then do the necessary deed in terms of skilling or in terms of investment. Are clients at this point in time, the clients that you talk to, are clients willing to spend? Are clients opening up their pockets when it comes to making big digital transformation bets?
So I'll put it this way. A client is not really focused on spending with a partner on some of their internal programs. What a client is interested in doing is to make sure that they're choosing the right strategic partner to work with them as an extension of their enterprise to help them navigate the uncertainties in their markets and therefore being a good partner. From our perspectives, if you ask me, I think clients are very focused on just the basics. Are we working with a partner who brings very solid domain specialism? Are we working with a company that is very strong on the technology side, is making the kind of investments so that we don't have to be making investment in some of those areas? Are we working with people who are focused on some of the new paradigms like AI, ML, RPA, things like that? And are they also capable of bringing in the data analysts so that they can understand the kind of data that I have to bring actionable insight? And after all of this, are they coming to me with a model which is allowing me to deliver on a more of a variable cost kind of a model? So I think this is what is actually positioned very strongly in the marketplace. And I can tell you from our perspective, the pipeline has never looked stronger. Right? So just to give you a sense, we started this conversation.
Large deals? Because I seem to get a sense from a lot of players over here that, have patience with the volume and the value of the deal. It'll take time for large deals to come into these emerging tech services. Would you agree?
No, so I'll tell you, like Rostow said, the timing of a decision from a client is not in our control, and we will focus on what is in our control. So I think we are doing all the right things to make the right investments in order to enable the client to make that decision. But when they will finally make that decision is in their control, not ours, is all I'm saying. And we started by this conversation by talking about uncertainty, this, that, the other. Reality is, even this year, fiscal 2018, a lot of uncertainty. Brexit has still not happened. All the things Debjani spoke about has not happened. But I think many of us positioned our business models and our companies so well that I could take great pride in saying that at least both our companies actually, during this year itself, we've attained lifetime highs on our stock price. In fact, WNS yesterday again was at a lifetime high. No, so that's again.
So will that continue in 2019?
Well, I hope so. That's my job.
Just to supplement one additional point for your question, Kritika, I think what we are seeing, and the whole industry from our side is seeing, that is on the customer side, there's as much involvement by a business owner in a technology decision compared to the past where it was only the CIO or the CTO kind of the technology buyer there. So to that buyer, all they are looking for is this partner going to deliver the business outcome that I'm looking for? Is the sort of ROI on this investment visible? Is it sort of tangible? Is the risk mitigated? So on and so forth there. And our industry has responded really well to that kind of change in the buyer behavior, buyer sentiment right now.
For you, 2019, Rostow, two top challenges for you, and how confident are you then that FY20 is going to be better than FY19? Because I seem to be getting that buzz irrespective of the uncertainty that could be around the corner.
Personally, I'm very excited for Mindtree. I think the opportunities in front of us is just mind-blowing. Our pipeline, like Keshav mentioned, is also at a lifetime high. I just wish my stock price was also like him at a lifetime high, but that aside, that's not in my control there. But opportunities are at all-time high for Mindtree in terms of customer traction and therefore order book and pipeline and everything else there. The biggest challenge for us is how do we start navigating the paths to getting a business model change to the point that Debjani made. I think all of us have grown in a certain era. Technology and all the customer expectations are forcing us to change, but we become large right now. How do you carry your people along and all those kind of dynamics and drive the business model change that we need to be able to continue to stay relevant both for talent as well as for the market? That's the biggest challenge.
Are you in the bucket of CEOs who believe that FY20 will be better than FY19 then?
Absolutely. I always believe the future is very, very bright.
Okay. And last
word. You can't be a CEO if you go out and tell the next year is not going to be good.
You have to be cautiously optimistic, right? As you have said. Keshav, final point to you. What, to your mind, is going to be the next big bet that WNS is going to make, and the next big opportunity that is going to be for Indian IT services, Indian IT and BPM services for 2019?
So I think, from our point of view, we are executing extremely well as a company, right? And I think for us, transformational kind of growth through tuck-in as well as transformational M&A is something that we'll be looking at over the next few years, if you ask me. Overall, from an industry point of view, I think the most exciting thing that is happening is artificial intelligence and the kind of new impact that is being created across every one of our businesses. We're seeing it already in our business, and we're already starting to provide solutions to travel companies, insurance companies, banks, retail companies. And I can talk about some very interesting examples of things that are being done as a result of which tickets are being rerouted based on potential snowfall happening 3 days from now, but allowing the customer to not take a cost impact, right? It means that actually you now know exactly how a customer is going to be impacted. You walk in Changi Airport now, and your data is available with different stakeholders. It's lying with MasterCard, it's lying with every one of these kind of players. But the reality is, when you go there today, nobody's trying to cross-sell. But today, with AI, they can actually say, Kritika, here's a 30% discount on a Tumi bag, because they now are able to identify you because of solutions some of us are creating using AI. This is going to be the most exciting kind of impact for this industry, I think, in the future.
I think she prefers Michael Kors over Tumi. Tumi is a men thing more.
I know I said last word, but I'm going to come back to Debjani for the last word. Debjani, a point that Keshav made, and Rostow was also saying there is a lot of different kinds of consolidation happening. Are you prepared for consolidation across the board? Industry changing? Are we going to be here with a different looking industry?
I think the industry is changing pretty dramatically if you see it. The composition of, just look at the composition of NASSCOM membership.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Today a large part of our membership are startups, SMEs, MNCs, product companies, GCCs, right? So this industry will continue to change and it will continue to evolve. And I think we see that as an opportunity. We see that as a tremendous opportunity. The only challenge is keeping pace with it.
Okay. Fair enough. And everyone here is well prepared to keep pace with it. So on that note, we're going to wrap up this special discussion. Thank you so much for watching. We're wrapping up from the NASSCOM Technology Leadership Forum.